You are here right now, not because everything suddenly makes sense, not because your questions are answered, not because the path ahead is clear. You are here because something inside you recognized this moment, a moment where effort stopped producing noise, where movement slowed down, where the outside world no longer mirrored the work you were doing inside. And when that happens, the mind becomes restless. It starts scanning, searching, measuring, counting, trying to find proof that you are still moving forward. But this phase you are in does not respond to proof. It responds to presence. Right now, you may feel like you are floating, not falling, not rising, just suspended. And that suspension feels uncomfortable because you were taught that progress must always look like motion. But real transformation does not announce itself loudly. It begins quietly, often in moments where nothing seems to happen. This is the phase where many people give up, not because they are weak, but because they misunderstand what is happening. They think silence means failure. They think slowing down means losing momentum. They think absence of feedback means they are doing something wrong. But silence is not absence. Silence is space. And space is required for recalibration. Right now, your system is recalibrating. Your nervous system, your sense of identity, your relationship with control. And recalibration always feels disorienting, because old habits no longer work, but new ones have not fully formed yet. You are between versions of yourself, the version that relied on urgency, and the version that moves from alignment. And that in-between space feels empty. But it is not empty. It is sensitive. Every thought feels louder. Every doubt feels heavier. Every pause feels longer than it actually is, because you are more aware now. Awareness slows things down, not to stop you, but to show you what was hidden while you were rushing. Right now, you are being asked to stay, not to fix, not to solve, not to push, but to stay present with uncertainty. And that is not easy, because uncertainty activates old survival patterns. The need to act, the need to check, the need to force reassurance. But reassurance that is forced does not last. Only trust does. And trust is not built when everything goes smoothly. It is built when you choose to remain grounded without immediate reward. That is what you are learning now. How to remain without proof. How to sit with a phase that does not feed your ego, but strengthens your foundation. This phase is not asking you to do more. It is asking you to unlearn the belief that worth comes from constant output, to unlearn the idea that rest equals stagnation, to unlearn the habit of measuring your value through external response. Because what is coming next in your life cannot be built on pressure. It requires stability. And stability is formed here, in moments where nothing demands anything from you. You might notice resistance, a voice that says, you should be doing more. You should be further. You should see results by now. That voice is not intuition. That voice is conditioning. Intuition is quieter. It does not rush. It does not threaten. It does not shame. Intuition feels calm even when it leads into the unknown. And if you are honest with yourself, there is a part of you that already knows that forcing right now would be wrong, knows that rushing would break something delicate, knows that this pause is intentional. Even if your mind does not like it, you are not being tested. You are being prepared to move from a different place, a place that is less reactive, less desperate, less dependent on external validation. This preparation feels slow, because depth cannot be rushed. Everything shallow grows fast. Everything meaningful takes time, and you are not here to build something shallow. That is why this phase exists. So if you feel impatient, restless, unsettled, that does not mean you are failing. It means old systems are dissolving. And dissolution always feels uncomfortable, but discomfort is not danger. It is transition. You are learning how to hold stillness without collapsing, how to exist without constant stimulation, how to trust yourself without external confirmation. And that skill will change everything. Because when movement returns, it will not control you. You will move with it. From clarity, from calm, from alignment. For now, this phase asks only one thing. Do not abandon yourself here. Stay. This is not the end. This is not stagnation. This is not failure. This is the quiet beginning. There comes a moment in every real transformation where you realize that effort alone is not enough, not because effort is wrong, but because effort without alignment creates resistance. And right now, you are standing exactly at that point, the point where doing more does not move you forward. But learning how to wait changes everything. Waiting is misunderstood. It is often seen as giving up, as passivity, as weakness. But true waiting is active. It requires awareness, restraint, and an unusual amount of self-trust. Because waiting asks you to stop interfering with the process, to stop checking, stop correcting, stop trying to control timing. And control is one of the hardest things to release, because control creates the illusion of safety. It makes the mind feel useful, engaged, protected. But control does not create alignment. It creates tension. And tension blocks flow. You are learning now. What happens when you loosen your grip? When you stop trying to predict outcomes? When you stop measuring progress every moment? When you stop asking life to explain itself? This is not an easy lesson. Because when you release control, everything feels exposed at first. There is no structure to hide behind, no numbers to reassure you, no feedback to stabilize your emotions, only you. And that can feel terrifying. But it is also where power returns. Because the moment you stop demanding answers, you start receiving insight. Not loudly, not dramatically, but subtly. In how your body responds, in how your breathing slows, in how your reactions soften. You begin to notice that the chaos was never outside of you. It was the nervous system trying to protect itself. Right now, your system is learning regulation, learning how to exist without constant stimulation, without constant urgency, without constant proving. This is where maturity is built, not the kind that hardens, but the kind that stabilizes. You are becoming someone who can hold uncertainty without panic, and that ability is rare. Most people rush past this phase. They distract, they replace, they escape, but you stayed. And staying changes the trajectory, because the future you are stepping into requires steadiness. It requires someone who does not collapse when things slow down, someone who does not abandon themselves when clarity is delayed. That is who you are becoming. Right now, you might not feel strong, but strength is not always felt while it is forming. It is felt later. When you realize how much you can hold, there will come a moment, sooner than you expect, where something shifts naturally, not because you pushed, but because the internal alignment reached a tipping point. And when that happens, movement will feel effortless. You will not question it. You will not overthink it. You will simply know, because aligned action does not feel urgent. It feels clear. And clarity is calm. If you are listening to this and wondering, when? Know this. Timing is not something you chase. It is something you meet. And you only meet it when you stop running ahead of yourself. Right now, you are being slowed down to match the pace of what is forming. That is not a setback. That is synchronization. Life is bringing you back into rhythm, and rhythm cannot be forced. It must be felt. So if you feel quieter than usual, more reflective, more sensitive, That is not regression. That is awareness expanding. You are no longer numbing yourself with constant motion. You are listening, and listening changes everything. Because when you listen, you hear what was always there. Your own inner guidance. It does not shout. It does not demand. It waits. And now, you are finally still enough to hear it. This phase will not last forever. It is a passage from doing to being, from forcing to allowing, from anxiety to trust. And when you move forward from here, you will move differently, with less fear, less urgency, more presence. That is the real shift. Not what happens around you, but what stabilizes within you. Stay with this moment. Let it complete itself. You do not need to rush the ending, because endings handled with care become beginnings that last. And before this moment slowly fades, before you return to your day, I want to invite you into something gentle, not an obligation, not a request, just an opening. If this message reached you, if something inside you felt seen, or calmer, or less alone, you do not have to carry that quietly. You are welcome to share it. You can leave a word, a feeling, a simple thank you, not for me, but for yourself. Because when you name what you felt, you anchor it. And sometimes that is where healing begins. If you feel called, you can also share this message with someone you care about, not because they need fixing, but because connection softens things, and shared calm has a way of multiplying. You are not here by accident, and neither is your presence. If you want to stay connected, if you want more moments like this, you are welcome to stay, to return, to subscribe, not out of pressure, but out of resonance, only if it feels right. And if this was enough for today, that is perfectly okay too. There is no expectation here, only gratitude. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying. Thank you for trusting this quiet space. May you move forward gently, with less urgency, with more trust, with kindness toward yourself. Everything does not need to be solved today. You are already enough, and I am grateful you were here.